Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to today's video. Today we'll be talking about what to do if you lose the girl you were seeing. You were going on a couple of dates with her, but then she lost interest and now she's gone. This is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get on my channel and during my consultation calls, and I really want to address it. Number one, I would say that look, you didn't really lose her, right? She was never yours to begin with, and you made a couple mistakes and she lost interest. I would say don't beat yourself up over it. I would say look into the mistakes you made, learn from it so it never happens again. I feel like that's a really important element. I would say that, yeah, like maybe you were having one of the greatest dates ever and you thought of a potential future with her and she lost interest in you because you became too needy, you became impatient, and that started to creep in the interaction, and she's like, oh, you're kind of weird. Yeah, that happens. You allowed your insecurities and neediness to creep back into the interaction with her, and you no longer saw her as an equal. You started pedestalizing her, and she can feel that. Women can feel that when you're placing them above you and you're supplicating to them. It's a really unattractive masculine trait. It's like, dude, you're just a nice teddy bear. I want a guy who can be equal, if not more, and treat me as a normal human being and not treat me like a queen. I'm not saying to disrespect women, but it's like, realize that it's a give and take, right? She's not better than you, and you're not necessarily better than her. It's kind of coming together and being like, okay, this is interaction, right? It's not like you're trying to have your ego be better than hers. But realize that why did you lose the individual? It's because you became impatient, and what can you actually do? I'll give you realistic advice, and I'll give you something to fix the immediate symptoms of it. Number one, you're not good enough, okay? You're not the strongest version of yourself to attract the individual. You don't have the criteria of what it means to be a man and have the ability to walk away and develop that abundance mentality. I feel like it's a really important thing as a man, is especially in dating, is you need to have the abundance mentality. You have to realize that, like, look, if I lose this individual, I'll be able to replicate this, find someone else who's better for me, and that everything happens for a reason. But it's really hard when you emotionally invest all this energy. Like, you think of as girls, like, oh, could she be a girlfriend? And you're thinking way too far ahead. But realize that when you're going to get serious with someone, she has to feel the same way. And it's not like if you ask her to be your girlfriend that you're unsure of the answer. Like, if you are in a really strong frame, you're a strong masculine man, and she's really attracted to you, by the time you ask her to be your girlfriend, the instantaneous answer is going to be, hell yeah, why did you not ask sooner? Not like, oh, I need to think about it. It just means she's lukewarm on you and she doesn't have a strong desire for you. I would say that you can't negotiate attraction, and having that unnegotiated desire is a really important thing in dating, is like that person's really hot for you, and that's quite important. But a short-term fix, okay, well, let's say you lost her. Well, she's no longer showing you interest. I would say, dude, pause. Take a step back. Stop beating yourself up. Stop sending her messages trying to fix the situation. I would just say, act like nothing has happened and keep moving on. No one's counting your mistakes as bad as you are. Realize that. If you have the ability to act like nothing's happened, then yeah, she'll be more forgiving of you. People tend to be very forgiving, but if you keep beating yourself over the head and like, hey, I'm so sorry if I became needy, and it's like, dude, move on. Like, it's already been addressed. Don't keep beating it over your head and be like, hey, no, I'm a man, because what happens is you have not learned. I think the beauty of being a man is able to make mistakes and move forward and be like, yeah, I made a mistake, but I'm act like nothing happened. Shrug it off. Keep going. That's a really attractive trait, is because we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're all needy. Just keep doing that, right? I'd say start dating other people. Start having more interaction. Start hanging out with your friends more. Stop making the prime focus of your life and energy her, because that's what's happening, is you are making her the focus of your life, and that neediness and scarcity mentality starts to exhibit symptoms, and she can pick that up. Start doing the things you truly enjoy, right? Start focusing on your hobbies, your passion. Go work out. Go focus on your career. Go hang with your buddies. And then occasionally text her, see if she wants to meet up. Decrease the frequency in which you see her. I feel like it's a really important lesson, is take a step back. Let her come to you. And keep working, right? Keep growing, and she'll be like, oh my God, yeah, that was a one-time slip up. I'm very forgiving, because that's actually not who he is. That was a freak event. That's a freak moment. That's truly not him. That's what I would say. Realize that, like, yeah, take the foot off the gas and move on. It might hurt you because you're like, I really want her. It's so great. Yeah, realize that, think long term. If it's great, you're able to recreate those great memories in the future, right? You just have to give yourself a chance and stop chasing it immediately, right? Those moments don't come when you're trying to focus on it. Great moments of joy happen spontaneously. It's when you're present to the moment. Instead of trying to create it, just allow it to happen. And that means take the foot off the gas, take a step back, reevaluate, and be like, hey, I need to address the trauma and neediness and insecurity within my heart, because you got rejected as a kid and you need this approval from a woman because you don't know really who you are. I'd say get back in your masculine frame and really focus on that. It will really serve you well. And look, what if she never comes back? Yeah, that could be a real possibility that she never comes back because you blew it. Well, now you know the consequences of becoming too needy and making her the primary focus of your life, because now you shot yourself in the foot. It just means don't do it again. And is it painful? Yes. Did you lose a good one? Probably. If you're able to get a good one, realize that you're able to find another one. And that's the true abundance that you need. Because if you truly believe that you lost a girl, you never find anyone like her, then it's a losing game. And what happens is you're basing your entire life off her approval, which is a terrible thing to do. Because what gives her the authority to tell you that you weren't shit? Right? Like, that's not a really healthy mentality. Be like, yeah, like, look, it fell apart. I made a mistake. It's human. I learned a lot. It just means you weren't ready for the relationship that you want. And sometimes things happen for a reason. Maybe you dodged a bullet, right? And I would say that if she lost interest in you and you have to go out and gain more status, whether that's prestige, money, joy, self-esteem, what happens if that gets taken away, right? If you start chasing and working on materialistic items and prestige, and now she's attracted to you, is that genuine, or is that purely off like material items and superficiality? Because if you lose that thing, then she's gone once again, because she's addicted and attracted to the status, to the money, to the things you can provide. So realize that, right? Like, core confidence, being unshakable, being anti-fragile, is a really important thing, because it shows that you can't really get messed with and you're really solid in your core and in your ground, your masculine energy. I feel like that's really important. But then if she's gone from that, I don't know. It just means that she wasn't here for eternity. It was just your turn for this moment. I feel like that's a really important element in realizing. So realize that, like, if a girl's really into you, really attracted to you, you could really do anything you want, right? It means she's attracted to you. Yeah, could you ruin the interaction by doing terrible things like mistreating her, being needy, being kind of an asshole? Yeah, that's super true. But if you're working yourself continually, being the best guy, putting your best foot possible, working your career, working out because you are truly happy and you want to be the best version of yourself, you have nothing to fear, right? Those things will fall in line. But realize that, like, you can't make the woman your focus. And if you're worried about losing a girl, you're not ready for a healthy relationship. You're still in that scarcity mindset. And the sad part is you have to get burnt a couple more times before you realize, I am complete. I'm whole. Even though I don't have a partner, even though I don't have the approval of a woman, I don't have the approval of a girlfriend, that's okay. But once you stop caring, that's when the universe or God presents the opportunity for you. And I truly believe that is when you're no longer outcome dependent. That's when magic happens in life. That's when magic happens in all our lives. Realize that when you no longer want it, when you no longer chase it, that's when the universe presents itself. When you truly just give up and allow life to happen versus trying to create it. Well, what can I say in the meantime? Learn from it. Analyze your text message. Analyze your dates. And realize the problem is probably not her. It's probably you. And if an individual is kind of being mean to you and neglecting you, okay, maybe an element of it is her fault. But if we're going to be men, we have to realize it is our fault. The way life happens to us, we have to take responsibility for it, because no one else is going to take responsibility for it. I feel like that's a really important element. So yeah, analyze your mistakes and work on that. Well, that means going to therapy, going to consultations, book a call with me, read some more books, journal, explore spirituality of what it means, and address your internal trauma and the things that are holding you back. I mean, that's a really important element, is that a lot of the things we mess up in life, it's because of childhood trauma, neglect. We never got the approval. We never got the love as a child. When we craved attention, we needed help. Our cries were unanswered. And what does that mean? It shows that we're unworthy of love and attention. So when a girl gives you attention for the first time, you're absolutely enthralled. You're infatuated because no one's ever given you love before. It's a really dangerous thing, because you get high off of it and it shakes you off your ground, right? You're very logical in the moment, but then when you get love, you throw everything away. You see red flags and you're like, I'm just going to go with the flow. I love this person. And then you go and ignore the red flags, and eventually you get burnt. I feel like this comes through maturity and life experiences. It doesn't mean you have to be old to understand it, but it means the amount of exposure you get into it, right? If you start dating from an early age, like let's say 12, you're going to be more experienced at this than if you find your partner at 33. So realize it's just exposure and experience. And I would say, just because someone learned it earlier than you doesn't mean you should be envious or jealous. It just means that person's dealt with so much more pain and rejection than you, right? Anyone who's really good at dating has gotten really good at rejection and minimizing the effect of what people think about them and not taking it personally. Rejection does hurt, but regret sucks even more. And look, we all get rejected. It still sucks, but you have to be outcome independent, right? And you learn that by time is like you get rejected over and over again. You're like, well, nothing to lose, right? I think forcing the rejection is better than trying to avoid it. So don't be afraid of rejection. Rejection allows you to grow, because once you stop caring about it as much, that's when magic happens, because people can tell like, wow, this guy's really confident and he doesn't really care. And if I reject him, he's going to be fine and lives a happy life. So that's the importance of developing a good masculine group of friends, hanging out, having good guy time, because it allows you to be like kind of more manly, It allows you to be like, oh, okay, what does it mean to be a man? I should stop caring what people think and find out what it means to be me. And also when you hang out with guys, there's kind of like a little hazing, right? Guys kind of test each other, and it's like, are you a man? Can I trust you? Or are you going to be offended by this joke or how we tease you? It's a really healthy thing. It's like almost getting a vaccine against criticism of others. So I'll say develop your passions and hobbies and keep working out and do other things, because if a woman's all you have looking forward to on the weekend, she bails, what are you going to do next? Your weekend plans have canceled. So I'd say diversify your interests and passions. So it's not in one person. And if you find someone that truly appreciates you, go all in. Yeah, right? Play this game of life, roll the dice. Because that's how life happens. If it's meant to end, it'll end. And I truly believe that. You can't really think about these things. You can't be proactive in that sense. But just realize, like, if you're going to fall in love, you're going to have fun. Getting hurt is a part of it. It's a part of the game. That's why love is so great. Nothing's guaranteed. If you guys want to talk about this further, please email me at min@bedroomtalks.com. It's in the description below. Check out my website, bedroom-talks.com. There's a lot of great resources on there, and I hope to connect. As always, wish you guys the best. Peace out. Namaste.